my channel. So today's video, I want to do a Madison Beer look. I really love her style, but her makeup as well, so I'm gonna center on the makeup today. I want to do a day to night makeup because in the day she looks super fresh face and super good, but I also want to be able to transform that to show you guys what she does at night when she looks more glamorous and more dramatic, and I really love both looks, so I'm excited to show you guys what I did. It's definitely out of my comfort zone because some of the things she does, like, I never do, but it was really fun to see how it looks on me and to try out something new, because that's the point of YouTube, is to kind of get out of your comfort zone and try new and fun things for you guys. If you guys have any questions for me or comments, of course, leave them down below for me, and if you guys are new to my channel, I would really love for you guys to support me and to subscribe to my channel as well. And yeah, without rambling on, let's get into the look. Okay, so for Madison Beer's natural daytime makeup, I really do want to start priming my face with some sort of hydrating, illuminating type of primer. So I am going in with my NYX Illuminating Primer, which always gives me that fresh-faced appearance. And for foundation, I'm using my L'Oreal Lumi W5 foundation. This is really my go-to when I want a more natural appearance. And I'm mixing that in with my YSL Touche Eclat one in BD60 because they have a similar type of dewy look. But the YSL one is slightly darker, so it's going to give me a really nice tanned type of appearance. And to keep the luminous dewy look, I am using my L'Oreal True Match Concealer in W4-5, and I do like to blend this particular concealer using my fingers. I just find the warmth of my fingers really just makes it look natural. Now I'm just setting in that concealer by sweeping some RCMA No Color powder over all the areas I put the concealer with a small powder brush. For the day look, I'm definitely avoiding to bake or just to put too much powder, just because we want this to look as natural as possible. For blush, I'm using the Narz Amour blush. This is a really nice pinky blush that gives a beautiful flush to the cheeks. I'm really not used to wearing this much blush on a daily basis, but I find Madison's face always looks so youthful, and I do feel that using this type of minimalistic face makeup and using the blush together really just gives a natural look without having all the contouring and all of that. I am adding a little bit of bronzer just to add a little bit more color and depth to my face because I find it does make a difference, and she does definitely look like she gets some sun, so that bronzer is going to help out. It's almost going to act as a replacement for the contour because we're not really going to contour for the daytime look. Now for her lips are naturally very plump, and especially in the daytime, she really doesn't do anything very drastic with her lips. So to accentuate the natural pout, basically what I'm going to do is just put bronzer on the contours of my lips to create that shadow-like effect and make them appear a little bit larger. I'm liking it. It's like you don't even need to overline your lips, I swear. Except I will. She slightly has an overlining, but it's very subtle. So I'm going to take a nude colored lip liner and subtly overline the lips as well. It looks like she almost has nothing on her lips, yet they're really accentuated. So I really want to kind of keep that natural type of effect on the lips and just add a gloss over top to really make them look extra pouty. Next, just take any kohl black eyeliner, preferably one that doesn't smudge too much because you really want to focus it mainly on the waterline area and just going from the outer corner to the inner corner. I mean, I'm going to probably like extend it a tiny bit outside the waterline, but it's really mainly focused on the waterline in all her photos. Now you do want a tight line as well, which just means putting the black eyeliner on the upper lash line just to darken up the eye area. Now it seems in terms of eye makeup she just has this with mascara, but I do want to accentuate the eye shape a little bit more, so I'm just going to take a very subtle color from the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette, and I'm just going to put a little bit on the lower lash line. You guys will see what I'm doing here. Let's find a brush that would be helpful. So I'm going to take that burnt orange shade from the palette. It's like really subtle, and I'm just going to put a bit just to add depth to the eye. In the crease area, I'm going to put the same exact shade just to add depth to the crease. Her lashes are so long, like seriously. I mean, I have lash extensions, so I'm not going to put mascara on the top, but I definitely would put fake lashes or a lot of mascara if I didn't. But I'm going to concentrate that on the bottom lashes because hers are super noticeable as well. Let's move on to the fun part. So for the freckles, I'm going to be using a few things. I'm going to be using the Modern Renaissance palette. So I'm going to take a super pointed brush and just dip into the lighter shades here, like Burnt Orange and Raw Sienna, and see. Don't worry, this is going to look much more natural when I'm done. I'm now going in with a brown kohl liner. Make sure this is as sharpened as you can make it so that your freckle isn't too smudgy. Then I like to kind of press it in and kind of just make it look like not smudgy, but like part of my skin, because it's not such harsh dots, right? So that's what I'm kind of doing with the warmth of our fingers. It's really going to help melt in the product to the skin and make it look a little more natural. So yes. It's starting to come together. It is. Guys, I have faith that we can make this work out. But I really feel like by pressing it in, I swear it really does make the difference. And in real life, it actually does look kind of real. I know we're like super up close and personal right now, and the lights are in my face, so I feel like, I don't know, the camera doesn't really do it justice, but it does look kind of cool. I'm not used to seeing myself with freckles. I kind of like it. Now, once we are done pressing that in, what I do like to do is put a bit of powder over top so that it looks like I have a bit of makeup over my freckles, because we never have freckles over makeup, so we gotta make it look a little more realistic. I'm going to take a fluffier brush, something like this, and just kind of lightly put the powder over it. Oh, lightly, Emily, lightly. I do want to add a little bit of highlight to the face just to give a glow, because she always looks really glowy, but I don't want to put too much. She's always so damn tanned. Gotta tan this up. The struggle of having a necklace on when you're putting makeup. Alright guys, it's time to amplify this look and definitely make it look more dramatic, because when she goes out at night, she has really more of an eye look and her face looks a little bit less fresh face and more just made up and glamorous. So I'm excited to transform this look into her night look. So to dramatize the eye look, the very first step I'm going to do is add concealer all over my eyelid and sculpting my brows. This is really going to allow us to have a neutral, clean base to pack on all the eyeshadows over, and it's going to make the eyeshadow colors pop even more and just look more crisp in my opinion. If you guys have an eyeshadow primer, of course, now would be the time to do that. I'm using concealer and using that as a primer, and it's been working for me. And for any glam look, I really do take my time with the brows, unlike the daytime look. So just sculpting and brightening the whole eye area and brow bone is really a perfect way to add on to the makeup we already had on without having to redo everything. Going in with Red Ochre from the Anastasia Beverly Hills A Modern Renaissance palette, I'm just going to place that with a fluffy blending brush and sweep it all over my crease area from inner to outer corner. To really pack on that pigment, I'm going in with a denser side of my eyeshadow brush. This brush is from the Anastasia palette, and I'm basically concentrating that on the outer corners and then just going back in with the blending side and blending that into the crease as well. The thing with eyeshadow looks is I really do like to go back in with the colors like over and over, just using different brushes and stuff depending on where I am with the eye look, just because it really makes a difference. Every brush has a different purpose. So far, red ochre is the only thing on my eye, but the way I'm blending everything is really giving more of a gradient effect, which is going to give us that dimension. Now taking a smaller packing brush, I'm taking a matte black shadow. You can get that from anywhere, but I'm using the one from the Jaclyn Hill palette. And I'm just creating darkness in my upper lash line. I'm pretty much mimicking what I do if I were to have a liquid liner and give myself a cat eye. This is basically the base for that because we will be doing that later on. It's also a nice trick for those of you guys who actually do have a bit more difficulty with creating that perfect wing. Just use the shadow as a guideline of how you want the shape and thickness of your wing to be. Now you could see that the middle of my lid has no shadow on it, which is good because we can really pack on the next color without having any other colors underneath it kind of taking away from it. Going in with this like reddish shimmer color from the Jaclyn Hill palette. It's so beautiful. I'm really just packing that onto my entire lid area using a smaller, dense packing brush. Now what you guys can do as well, just to really make the eye look more blended and to add a bit more gradients, I do like to go in with a bit of a lighter shade. From the Jaclyn Hill palette, you can use any of like the medium brown tones. And I'm just kind of putting a little bit just right above the red, above the crease, and just going in with the blending brush again just to blend everything together. It's all about blending and kind of going back in with different brushes just to kind of accentuate the color. I'm really not using that many actual colors on the eye, so that's why it's good, because it's not very hard to recreate. It's just a matter of knowing when to use what brushes, but it all takes practice and then it'll be much easier to get the hang of it. To give a more crisp look to the cat eye look, basically what I'm doing is taking an actual liquid liner and going over that black eyeshadow that I had done before on the upper lash line and just giving myself a cat eye look. I really do love this liquid liner. The formula is really good. It gives a beautiful payoff. And yeah, I'm just really concentrating that, starting from the inner corners to outer corners. Afterwards, I'm going to go in with a black kohl liner, like the daytime look, and just re-accentuating the lower lash line and the waterline like we did, just to kind of add a little bit more drama. So because we already have face makeup, I'm just here to kind of re-accentuate my features and to dramatize everything. So I'm going back in with my NYX bronzer and just kind of going over all the areas that I already did. So like on the cheekbone area, on my forehead, under the jawline, nose, and all the areas that I really do want to add depth and a bit more color. Again, for blush, I'm going back in with my Narz Amour blush and just putting that on the apples of my cheeks and extending that upwards just to re-accentuate the daytime makeup. Now, to really make it look more nighttime appropriate, to make it more long-lasting, and to just add more brightness in general, this is when I'm going to bake my face. So I'm basically going to take my RCMA No Color powder, and I'm going to take a flat top sponge. You can just take any sponge from the drugstore, and just take your powder and just really set that powder on all the areas of the face where you had applied your concealer, and this is really going to kind of dramatize everything. I'm gonna leave that on for a few seconds and just brush that off with a lighter, fluffier brush. You can keep that on for longer, but for me, normally, I do have a bit of drier skin, so I don't like to leave the bake on for too long. Now to add luminosity back into the face, because I feel like especially when you're adding more makeup or when you're baking your face and it's a lot more matte, it's important to have a bit of luminosity depending on the look that you're going for. I find Madison's face always has a bit of luminosity, so that's why I'm going in with the Jaclyn Hill Champagne Pop Highlighter and just like putting that on all the areas of my face that I want a bit more of a dewy look. Now for Madison's lips when she goes out, it's definitely more drastic. She does line her lips and she does have lipstick, so I'm just going to remove any of the makeup that I had from the daytime look, like the gloss, and then I'm going to top that off with the Makeup Forever Liquid Lip in the shade 103. And it's such a pretty nude, lighter, like pinky type of shade, and I really like it, and it doesn't take away from the eye look, which is really awesome. Time to set all this makeup into place, so I'm going in with my Makeup Forever setting spray and just spraying that all on. I do like to do that before applying mascara because I always feel like when I spray it after the mascara just like gets wet and goes on my face. So I'm just waiting for that to dry, and then I'm going in with my L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara and just applying that to the lower lashes, of course, just to dramatize the look even more. At this point, I mean, we can definitely add some fake lashes if we hadn't already, or just put a lot of mascara, but like mentioned earlier, I do have lash extensions, so I'm going to leave that part out. So that is it for the makeup look, going from Madison's daytime makeup to nighttime makeup and showing you guys how you can transform it without having to redo everything and just re-accentuating certain parts of the face to just really change it up. I love both looks so much. They're super different, yet they're both really fun and different and flattering, and I just really do like experimenting with different types of techniques and different products. So I really hope you guys like this look. If you guys have any questions for me, of course, leave that down below for me, as well as any other video suggestions that you guys might have. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye, guys.